Welcome back to episode 18 of the Railroads Online playthrough. And we are down on the mines plateau, and you can see off there in the distance, off camera, I've put in the passing lane and I've finished all the groundworks down the mountain. And we are at the next stage now where we build down towards the smelter from the plateau. Now, normally there is a marked path here which runs down along through here. You can see it's all nice and flat with the grass removed. You can see it easily. And it runs down through this valley here. But the problem is this little section here is 7%. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go around it along the edge of here and put in a nice big loop around up here at the top. So the first bit of groundworks that I put in will be the stuff that we'll actually build on. And as you can see, we are really close to the ground here. It's not very deep groundworks at all. It's actually a little bit lower than I wanted it to be. We need to be up about here somewhere. And now we'll start putting the fan in for the corner to go in. And as you can see, we're going to run out of room over there. So I'll just put a fan of groundworks around here so that we know where it's safe to build on and where it's not. We want this corner to be reasonably open so that we don't have to slow down for it. And we're aiming for that ridge just there in front of us. Even though there is like a low spot that runs down here that you could run down, I want to try and go past it a little bit to get further over. Actually, we might pull it in tighter. We might use a little bit of it. So let's come back to here and we'll put some groundworks across the middle of here a little bit better. And we've got more width to play with. I want to try and find that best spot where put the other end of the curve that's got to go in here. About here looks good. So what I'm going to do from this point here on, we don't want a constant, it's got to be a variable. We're going to put in a transition from here. So I'm going to put in a little estimate. I'm going to say from here, and I'm going to come to this point here. And now I'm going to actually lock the tell it what kind of corner we want to put in here, and we want a 20 degree. And I'm going to have a good estimate to see whether or not I can get evenly spaced segments here, which will make it nice and easy to build on. Okay, we want to go down again. Down again. I think we've got to start dropping that sooner, so let's delete that and we'll have a second go. And we'll take take it down a half. Actually, we might put in shorter segments. That might be the way to go. Variable. And we want to go down here. We've got to get the other side of that to there. We get in a quarter. And all the way around to 20. We'll put in shorter segments so we can get down there a little bit quicker. I think we've gone past where we want the corner to go at, so we'll just end it there. And that looks pretty good to me. Now we need to know this top point for here, so we're going to build the track around it with the correct 9 tie segments. I may even need to cut this corner a little bit here, I think. And we'll just bring that down so that it meets up nicely, and it doesn't want to. That's not constant, so we can't put in a second one. Okay, hopefully we've got enough groundwork there to cover where we need to go. And the other side of this switch here, this is where we'll turn off and go that way and head to the coal mine. Run it down along the river. We want track, not groundworks. Slowly start to ease into the corner. 12. We'll just keep adding one until we get close. And I think we've shot past it. We have shot past it. So we will leave that there and we'll come back and we'll build over the top of it again and try again, make it a little bit tighter. And I think we need to add just a little bit more groundwork here across the middle so we don't run off the edge. This one straight. 3. And then we'll go up in 2s. So if we get there sooner like this. If this doesn't work, we'll go up in 3s. we still haven't made it there. So we'll delete the outside one as we run back. So we don't accidentally get its control points. And if you look directly at the rail, you'll only delete the one you're actually pointing at, instead of trying to delete from ties. And first segment was straight. Three. Then we want 6. And then we want 9. Okay, don't let me have the correct length. Put it out here. Then we want 12. And then we want 15. It looks like we're on the same path, doesn't it? And then we'll go 18. And now we'll get to 20. See where we end up. Getting better. Haven't quite lined up to go down that hole yet. Okay, we'll end that one there. Just out of curiosity, I just want to put down a piece on here, just so I can see what this turned out to be, even though we put it in at 20, what it's actually telling us it is. 20. And yes, it is close enough to be 20. You can go around here with 20. No problem at all. Okay, well, that tells us that. Yeah, sometimes putting these in, it's just trial and error the whole way. Well, we stepped up 3 each segment last time. We'll try stepping up 4 each segment and see if we can't get there a bit sooner. It doesn't matter if we've got lots of this all over the top of each other, because when we come through with the final pass, it'll be from start to finish with a single spline, and it'll delete all the doubles out from underneath. And the first one was a straight. Then we want to put on the lock, and we want to go to a 4. And then an 8. 12, 16, and now we're at a 20. Well, let's see if we can line up down that piece now. We might get pretty close, I think, except we've run off the edge. So we'll end that there, delete that last rail, and we're just going to have to try and get this to fit from down here. What we want, down a quarter, still going down a quarter, that's where it meets. Okay, Overlap the last segment. We should be able to go back to 20 again now. See where we end up around this corner. I think we're going to go wide off the back end of it. We are. Which is fine. We will just start off from out here. We don't want constant, we want variable. We'll work out where we are here. It's about 0.5. And now we'll lock that. Put it on 20. And we'll just put a new curve in around here. Hopefully we get around without crashing into the terrain. That's actually more out in the position where I wanted to be anyway out here. So it'll be good if it goes all the way out to there. Before we come back, just in case these are going to affect our positions, we will delete a couple of these segments of groundwork. And we'll continue this corner around at 20. That seems to have worked out quite nicely, because that gives us as much room back this way. Gives us the maximum length of track we can have before running into this. And that's a reasonably nice transition there from... I want to be on rails because you need to delete the last one of those. And we can delete all of this over here because it's no longer relevant. We can delete this outside lane here because we don't need it anymore. Oh, well, that was the wrong one. That's okay, we can leave that there. We've got these control points. Actually, we will take this piece right out of the middle. That way when we connect to here, we can connect to here and we won't have the other control points in the way. And we can get rid of a whole lot of this groundwork that's sitting up on top here because we don't need all of it. We didn't need to go anywhere near over here. We need this bit here either, or that bit. But we will leave this one behind. Now from here we're going to run a string line. We're going to start it here and we want to be on 2.5 down. And I do want to finish the rest of this corner off. with the 20 degree. Even though we won't actually build on it with the finished track, it'll still give us an idea of to make sure our corner's in the right spot there. If we get under here, we'll see where we're aimed. And we'll back out of it to 5. Now we'll turn off the alt lock, and now we'll go for free placement. Which has given us, yes, that's given us a nice curve out of that starting curve there. I want to try and keep this nice and close to the edge. Okay, now we're going to be coming up, and this is the 7% bit here that we've just bypassed, and you can see the difference between 2.5 and 7 there. And we're just going to continue over to the left-hand side of here now. The section we're actually building past is 5% down. So we're also bypassing a 5% section. And keep it up all nice and close to the edge of the hill here. We will do a quick adjust to make sure our an up and a down to make sure our grade's in the right spot. Guess it's steep here. Well, right here in front of us here, this is where the marked route has a designated spot for you to build, and it's actually got a takeoff point here and a takeoff point there on the other side where they've expected that you're going to put a bridge across. Well, we're not going to put the bridge across because, as you can see, we're still up too high to put the bridge across there. So we're going to keep coming along the bank a little bit further until we're down a little bit lower. Keep coming around here. So this is where we're getting our extra length of track from, is by coming further down the river here. We want to go across here, otherwise we'll run out of room if we try and go up into there. And we'll do an up and a down, make sure our grades haven't changed. Oh, stuck on a tree. And I'm not sure how far we're going to have to go with this, so we'll just run a line out until we're somewhat closer to the river. I reckon here's probably a good place. We won't go much further than here. So an up and a down, and click it in. And we don't know how much of this track here that we'll use at this end. Well, let's just check our record time. And yep, we can do the string line from the other end. We've got enough time for it. No, run all the way back over to the smelter. This river tapers off quite steeply there. This is the takeoff point on the other side, back on the marked route. And you can see it lines up with the takeoff point over there. And I've got this nice little flat area here for you to be able to build a track around and come down this side of the hill. I've put a nice perfect flat spot here. It's just that this section here that we're on now, coming down here, this is 5%. So, and that's too steep for me. It'd work. You could run up and down here with the geared locomotives with a decent load on. But yeah, it's too steep for how I run the railroad with just one locomotive and a reasonable consist. I kind of don't want to go over 3, and while I'm aiming at keeping it the maximum at 2.5. You can see I've got this perfect flat here. It goes all the way around here to right to the bottom to the smelter. And we're actually going to go around most of it and maybe cross over it. I'm not sure where a 2.5 is going to end up. We'll just build a string line and see. I've already cleared all the trees. You can see it's sparse through here. And here's our 2.5 line. We're ready to go. And there we are back at the bits we put in at the smelter. So we'll start our string line from here with a constant. And we want to be 2.5 up. And basically just keep building around the hill. Same as what we did there before. Keeping it nice and neat against the edge of the hill. As soon as the hill's touching through just a little bit, and it'll naturally make a nice curve around this hill, around the hill. And we're getting pretty close. We'll be coming over the top of it here in a second. We want to try and keep as much length into the track as we possibly can as well. So we will follow the edge of the terrain wherever possible. Nothing's come too tight there yet. You can see, here we go. Now we're getting back up on top again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across the nice curve until we get over to this side here. And then back the other way. There we go. Now we've met up with the edge again. Hopefully we'll get just over the top. I want to pull this corner too tight. And we have not made it up over the top. So that has ended in fail. The last time I put the route up here, I was at 2.75, and that worked. So we're going to have to try and get a little bit more length in the string line. We'll try and get it here with a slightly tighter S-curve. So we'll start back from here again, 2.5 up. We'll go just a little bit wider around this corner. And then cross over more to this side here. Until we meet up with the hill. That should give us a couple of inches extra to try and get over the height. And I still don't think we have enough. No, we still don't have enough to get over. Okay, the next option is to start sooner. with the transition or make the transition shorter. So we'll go and have a go and see what that does for us. And we will delete some groundwork here that we don't want, so that we know to follow the right line next time we build up here. It's just that one is the one that's got the extra length. And we come all the way back to the bottom down here, and we'll try putting the transition in sooner. We want variable for the transition. And we'll start climbing right from here. And we'll go to each segment. Of course, we don't have our numbers, so I'm going to end it there. And I'm just going to put another piece here over the top of this last segment so we can see whether or not we actually got here or not. If not, we're past it. It's 3.5. Horrible when you lose your numbers. So that one must be 3, this one must be 2.5. 1, 2. Oh, it's trying to tell me it's 1.75. So I'll put it in at 2. And of course I've chosen constant instead of variable. There we go, it's given us a couple of extra inches. So now we'll go for constant. 2.5, and we'll just follow the same route around again. I'm trying to say just a little bit wider than what we did. Which will help us get extra little bit of length as well. This time we should be able to get over that rise. Oh, and we're close. Come around this way, I think. How does that look off of there? That's terrible. Definitely need to be able to get up and over here. We are just... Turn and go back over this way slightly. So we're following the hill along. Alright, now we'll start working on going across the... Which of course we've run out of placement options there. This is going to end up being a bigger bridge than what I want it to be. As you can see, we are already too high compared to over there. We just put across a couple of bits here like this, if it lets me, of course. Just to build the groundworks up so we can get something to go across there. See what height we're at. This is where we've got to work out where this bridge across the river goes in at. And yes, as you can see, we're high. So the bridge doesn't need to be quite so far out. Yes, the extra headache of trying to find, or trying to get the entire route 0.25 less than what it was meant to work at. I reckon we try it from here. Well, let's put that in. No, it's too far up. And we'll try that. Still too far up. And just so we can get back up there again. Let's put in one of these. You're in the way, tree. Nice launch. Yes, it's these nice sunken ones that usually fly well. Alright, clear, so we can have a decent look at where we're going. And what we're trying to do here is we'll actually try and put in very long segments. So we want to be 2.5 down. And if we put in long segments, it'll actually make a better curve. And that's given us something to work with. And you can still see we're still too low. That means we can bring the bridge back further. And that's basically all it is a matter of now is just keep continually putting this curve around in, bringing it back on this inside edge until it reaches where we want it to reach. Again, we'll start from this point here this time. Constant, 2.5 down, and we'll put a point there. Now we want to work along this inside edge there. There. And we should get a couple of inches taller each time we put it in. We can sneak it across there now so we get a better corner in there. And you can see we're slowly starting to lift up the height of this curve as we're moving it further down. Trying to build a line between 2 points is the most difficult when you've got to have somewhere in the middle where you need it to meet up again at. Like this here, we want basically to take up all the difference of where we build in the bridge. And we'll literally just run around this bridge and right on the edge and bring it in shorter again. Each time we do it, we're getting closer and closer to meeting up. We're only about 2 foot or so off of meeting up now. Eliminate some trees on the way back. Two, 1, 2. And then come another run around here, which will get us up another couple of inches higher. Getting even closer and closer. Some of those segments were a little bit too close together when I clicked them in then. I'll try and keep the segments reasonably long, that way you get a smooth curve. Reasonably long and somewhat the same length. Two, 1, 2. And we're getting closer. Lots and lots and lots of trial and error when you're trying to do something for the first time. And back on 2.5 down. So must be getting pretty close here now. Yeah, we're only a couple of inches off now. Considering we were nearly 2 foot off before. Just keep bringing this corner back closer and closer until we reach. Maybe one more pass will get it. Constant. 1, 2, 1, 2. Still going to take another go. Maybe even 2 more goes. bridge is nowhere near as far down the river as what I thought it would be. Yeah, normally it runs around there at the 2.75, so it's not actually that much extra length on it. 2.5. Gained a lot on this one. How close are we now? Oh, that's looking good. There we go, I think we've made it. That meets. That one's the one. And there we go, we've met up. Okay, and of course the next step on this is to put a guide track down it. And then steel bridge under that so we can have a finalised grade that is actually the perfect 2.5 instead of having this with the Z randomisation in it, which could be anywhere from 2 to 3%. But this is all we have time for in today's episode, was getting the string line in so we knew where the path would run. So I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Ta-da!